What hurts her most? It's not you yelling, it's not you crying, it's not even you walking away. It's when you feel everything and show nothing. It's when she throws chaos your way and you don't flinch. That's the moment she realizes she can't reach you anymore. Not through anger, not through guilt, not through seduction. And that breaks her. You want to know what true emotional power looks like. It's not being stone cold. It's being on fire inside, but never letting the flame touch your face. That's stoicism. That's control. That's what separates the man who gets played from the man who walks away untouched. See, most men are emotionally predictable. She knows exactly what button to push to get the reaction she wants. Cry a little. He comforts. Go cold. He chases. Post something cryptic. He starts losing sleep. That's not a relationship. That's manipulation. And you feed it every time you react. But the man who doesn't flinch? He's a different breed. You can't trap him with a mood swing. You can't shake him with silence. He's locked in, grounded, watching. And she feels that, not because he's heartless, but because he's mastered the one thing she thought she could control, his emotions. This isn't about becoming numb, it's about becoming selective. You don't give your energy to someone who thrives off your chaos. You sit in the fire, you breathe, you remain unshaken, because once you show her she can't crack you, you stop being a game, you become a mirror, and the only thing she'll see reflected is her own instability. This is what hurts her most. The stillness, the unreadable gaze, the refusal to break when she expected you to fall apart. If you're done being emotionally predictable, if you're ready to move in silence, power, and control, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, "She can't reach me anymore." Now let's begin. Number 1, predictability is her playground. If she knows how you'll react, she controls the entire game. Every word, every post, every mood swing. She's not just expressing emotion, she's testing you. And when you're predictable, when your reactions are instant and obvious, you hand her the remote control to your mind. She says something cold, you get defensive. She disappears, you chase. She looks at her phone mid-conversation, and your whole mood shifts. That's what most men do. They react without thinking. And once she knows your patterns, you stop being a mystery. You become a script, something she can read and manipulate at will. Understand this. A woman will never respect a man she can emotionally map out. If she knows she can get under your skin, she'll keep doing it. Not always out of cruelty, sometimes just to feel something, to see if she still has influence. And if you keep giving her the same reaction, that tells her yes, you're still under her control. Emotional predictability is weakness. It shows her you're still governed by her behavior, that your mood, your presence, your identity are all up for grabs based on what she does. And that is the opposite of masculine power. You have to become unreadable, not emotionless, but untouchable. She should never know exactly what you're thinking or how she affects you. When she pushes, you don't push back. When she pulls away, you don't chase. You respond like a man who's centered, because that's the only thing she can't manipulate. When she can't predict your reaction, she loses her grip. She's no longer leading, she's wondering. And wondering is what starts to unravel her confidence, because now she's off balance. And that's where you win, not by force, not by control, but by refusing to be her puppet. Number 2, stop explaining yourself. The moment you start justifying yourself, you hand her the frame. You give her the power to judge, interpret, and redefine your actions. And that's exactly where she wants you. Not strong, not silent, but talking, explaining, defending. That's how she keeps you emotionally tethered. Every time she questions your tone, your silence, your boundaries, you feel the urge to explain, to make her understand, to fix her perception. But you don't need to explain yourself to someone who's already made up her mind, or worse, someone who's twisting the narrative to control you. Explanations are invitations. Invitations to debate, to guilt, to manipulate. The more you talk, the more ground you give. And the truth is, if she respects you, She won't need a long explanation. If she doesn't, no explanation will ever be enough. Stop offering her access to your inner process. Stop letting her dissect you. She's not your judge. You don't owe her a courtroom statement every time you make a move. You set the boundary. You make the decision. That's it. Done. No defense. No emotional unpacking. Stoic men don't overshare. They speak when necessary, and never to justify their strength. You can be honest. You can be firm. But you don't negotiate with someone who's trying to shake your frame. You hold it. You let the silence speak. And if she can't handle that, she was never aligned with your mission in the first place. Control doesn't always come from action. Sometimes it comes from restraint, from knowing you could explain yourself, but refusing to hand over that kind of power. Number 3, never show the crack. She's looking for it, the fracture. That tiny break in your armor that tells her you're still shaken, still hooked, still vulnerable. Maybe it's in your voice, your eyes, your hesitation. She'll test you with silence, with passive aggression, with subtle digs, just to see if she can find it. Because the moment she sees you break, even slightly, she knows she still matters, that she still controls part of your emotional world. And once she sees that crack, she'll press harder. Not always to hurt you, but to feel her own power. And if you give her that confirmation, the balance shifts. You're no longer leading, you're following. This doesn't mean suppressing everything. It means owning your emotions without putting them on display. It means walking into the room with a calm so deep, she has no idea what's going on inside you, and she can't access it no matter how hard she tries. Women sense instability. They can feel when you're off center. And once they feel it, they start poking at it, testing it, seeing if they can unravel you piece by piece. But when you hold the line, when you maintain your composure under pressure, she starts to second-guess everything. Did he stop caring? Why didn't that get to him? Has he moved on? That's when the script flips. The control she once had starts dissolving, not because you said anything, but because you refused to break. You became unshakable. So keep your posture, keep your stillness. Speak slowly, move with intention, show nothing that you don't choose to show, because the moment you crack, even just a little, she knows there's still a way in. And the most powerful man in the room, he's the one no one can figure out. Number 4, she's feeding on emotional access. She doesn't need your love to feel powerful, she just needs access. Access to your reactions, your moods, your mental state. As long as she knows how to make you feel something, whether it's joy, rage, jealousy, or pain, she knows you're still emotionally tethered to her. This is where most men get played without even realizing it. They think that just because they aren't texting her, they've moved on. But she can still pull their strings from a distance. A vague story, a delayed reply, a post that seems targeted. Suddenly, your mood shifts, and boom, she's in control again. What you have to understand is this. Her power isn't in presence, it's in access. If she can still trigger you, she still owns part of you. And until you sever that connection, she'll keep feeding off your emotional energy, whether you're together or not. This is where Stoicism becomes survival. You start asking yourself, why am I letting her live in my head? Why am I giving her energy she didn't earn? And when you finally realize that every reaction is a deposit into her emotional bank account, you stop giving her anything for free. That means you don't respond to bait. You don't try to win the exchange. You don't try to teach her a lesson. You stay grounded, calm, completely unaffected. You stop feeding her not out of spite, but out of clarity. Because you understand that if she doesn't have access, she doesn't have leverage. And when she feels that door close, not slammed, just quietly sealed, she'll feel the emptiness where your energy used to be. And that void, that's what hurts her, not anger, not insults, the absence. Number 5, control is the new currency. In the world of attraction, control is the highest currency. Not money, not looks, control. The man who can regulate his emotions, who doesn't get pulled into chaos, who decides when and how he engages, that man becomes rare, and anything rare becomes valuable. She's used to men folding. She's used to tears, to begging, to emotional messes she can walk away from and mock later. She's used to being the storm. So when she meets a man who can stand in the center of that storm, completely unaffected, it shakes her deep. Why? Because control means you don't need her validation. It means her approval doesn't dictate your next move. It means your reality doesn't collapse based on how she feels that day. That's a threat to the game, because now she can't play it. And here's the deeper truth. Control isn't about what you feel. It's about what you do with what you feel. The anger, the confusion, the desire to fix things, all of it is normal. But when you act on impulse, you give her control. When you observe, breathe, and decide how to respond, you take it back. This is the essence of Stoic masculinity. The ability to sit in discomfort without becoming reactive, to observe her behavior without being pulled by it, to feel pain without handing it over to the person who caused it. She'll notice it, she'll try to test it. But when she sees that her games no longer work, when she feels that your world doesn't rise or fall based on her mood, that's when your value spikes. That's when she realizes she's not dealing with a boy. She's standing in front of a man who doesn't flinch. And that is what truly intimidates her. Number 6. Mystery triggers insecurity. The less she knows, the more she spirals. That's a psychological fact. Certainty brings comfort. Uncertainty brings obsession. And if you want to flip the script, this is how you do it, by becoming unreadable. Most men overshare. They explain everything, show everything, post everything. They want to be understood, but that need to be understood is what keeps them emotionally exposed and easily manipulated. Mystery is power. When she doesn't know what you're thinking, what you're doing, or how you feel about her, she starts guessing. And that guessing game, that's where insecurity breeds. Is he over me? Did he meet someone else? Why hasn't he said anything? Now she's in your head, just like you used to be in hers. And here's where it gets real. Mystery isn't about playing games, it's about discipline. You choose not to reveal. You choose not to post every win, respond to every message, or explain your every move, because you don't need to be seen to be significant. You just move in silence and let the silence work for you. A mysterious man forces her to face herself, her doubts, her decisions, her mistakes. He gives her no emotional mirror to lean on, so all she sees is her own reflection. And that reflection becomes uncomfortable when there's no reassurance coming from you. So you don't chase, you don't clarify, you let her mind wander, because the more she tries to figure you out, the deeper she sinks into that quiet panic. And that panic, that's what she tried to make you feel. Now she's getting it back, not through revenge, but through restraint. Number 7. Stay ice cold when tested. She will test you, count on it, with silence, with jealousy, with passive digs and emotional traps, not because she's evil, but because she wants to feel your center. She wants to know what makes you flinch, what gets under your skin, what still belongs to her. These tests aren't random. They're calculated. She might post something she knows will sting. She might flirt with someone in front of you. She might send you a vague, emotional message late at night. And in those moments, every part of you will want to respond, to bite, to correct the narrative, to assert yourself. But you don't. You stay ice cold, not out of spite, but because you understand the game. The test isn't about the situation, it's about your reaction. If she can get you to fold, she wins. If she can get you emotional, you've just told her, you're still mine. But when you hold your frame, when you keep your tone calm, your face still, your energy grounded, that's when she starts to feel the shift. She realizes she's not testing the boy who used to crumble. She's standing in front of a man who doesn't hand out emotional access for free. Ice cold isn't about being heartless. It's about being unbothered. Not because you don't care, but because you refuse to bleed for someone who cut you on purpose. Let her test. Let her product. Let her try to create chaos, but you don't flinch, you don't explain, you don't even blink. Because the second she realizes her chaos no longer affects your state, that's the second she realizes you've outgrown her grip. Number 8. You're not there to make her feel safe. You are not her therapist. You are not her emotional safety net. You are not her personal rehab center for bad choices and mood swings. That's not your role. You weren't built to fix her instability. You were built to lead yourself. Most men fall into this trap without realizing it. She cries, he consoles. She lashes out, he softens. She blames him for her own emotional damage, and he accepts the guilt. Why? Because he thinks that's what love is, being the guy who always makes her feel safe, no matter what storm she brings. But here's the truth. Women don't truly respect the man who bends every time she breaks. She may lean on him, depend on him, use him. But deep down, she doesn't fear losing him. And without that fear, without that edge, attraction fades. You're not supposed to be the warm blanket she wraps herself in when she can't manage her emotions. You're supposed to be the mountain, immovable, grounded, firm. Not cold, not cruel, but sovereign. You don't bend to make her feel safe. You remain solid so she knows she can't shake you. And that contrast, that raw masculine energy, creates tension. It makes her step carefully. It makes her respect you, even if she doesn't say it. Because deep down, she knows, if she pushes too far, you won't break. You'll leave. That's the kind of safety you offer. Not emotional babysitting, but the strength of a man who doesn't lose himself just to calm someone else. So stop being the emotional sponge. Stop absorbing her chaos. You're not here to make her feel safe. You're here to protect your peace. If she aligns with that, she can stay. If not, she can go. Number 9, give her nothing to cling to. She's not afraid of the breakup. She's afraid of the uncertainty that follows. As long as she has something to hold on to, your reaction, your words, your emotion, she still feels in control. Even if the relationship ends, she clings to the little pieces you leave behind. The maybe, the what if, the emotional trail you didn't realize you dropped. This is why most men never truly walk away. They block her, but post about her. They cut her off, but leave the door cracked. And she latches onto that. Not because she wants you back, but because she wants to know she still matters. But when you leave nothing, when you walk away with no drama, no explanation, no trace of regret, that's what unsettles her, because now she's got no closure, no grip, no leverage, just silence, stillness, void. And in that void, her own insecurities echo louder than ever. You don't need to be cruel. You don't need to disappear off the map. You just give her nothing. No emotional breadcrumbs, no updates, no signals. She tries to read you, but you give her no text, no code to crack. Just a man who's done and means it. And this is where emotional control becomes your sharpest weapon, because most people, especially those used to manipulating others, rely on emotional residue, on your guilt, on your attachment. But when you give her nothing to cling to, she has to sit with the one thing she can't escape, herself. And that's what breaks her. Not the loss of you, but the absence of any piece of you left to hold on to. Number 10. Emotional control makes you dangerous. A man who can't control his emotions is easy to manipulate, easy to provoke, easy to destroy. But a man who feels everything and reacts to nothing, that man is dangerous. Not because he's violent, not because he's aggressive, but because he can't be moved. She may have expected to see you broken, begging, spiraling. That's what most do. That's what's easy to handle. But what she didn't expect was stillness, a total absence of response. No fight, no chase. Just a man who absorbed the pain and used it to sharpen his focus. That's what Stoic masculinity is. Not emotional repression, but emotional domination. The power to choose your response when your instincts are screaming. The discipline to stay calm when everything in you wants to react. That's control. And that control is terrifying to anyone who once had access to your chaos, because she remembers how much she meant to you. And now she sees a man who doesn't flinch, doesn't pause, doesn't hesitate. That contrast hits deeper than any insult or argument ever could. And it's not just her. Everyone around you starts to feel it. You walk differently. You speak with more clarity. You stop explaining. You stop proving. You become presence itself. And the man who carries that kind of energy, he doesn't chase anything. Things move toward him. Emotional control makes you rare, and rare makes you powerful, not just in relationships, but in life. So let her watch, let her wonder, let her feel the weight of losing the man who never needed to raise his voice, because his silence said everything. You've been lied to, told that expressing every emotion makes you real, that reacting to pain makes you human, that being open and available at all times somehow makes you a better man. But now you know the truth. Emotional control isn't weakness, it's warfare. And the man who doesn't flinch, he's the man she never forgets. This isn't about being cold. This is about being in control. You don't need to shout to be heard. You don't need to beg to be chosen. Your silence, your restraint, your refusal to be pulled into emotional chaos, that's what sets you apart. She expected tears. You gave her stillness. She expected rage. You gave her nothing. She expected weakness. And instead, she watched you evolve into a man who doesn't move unless he decides to. If you're done being predictable, done being emotionally available for someone who only showed up when it served her, then stay on this path. Keep building. Keep controlling your energy. Because this is where power begins. Comment below. My silence speaks louder than her chaos. Thanks for watching. Stay calm, stay focused, stay dangerous.